Hello, everybody. I'm Jim Fannin. Welcome to Living in the Zone podcast. As your host, I'm also the co-founder and owner of ZoneCoach Consulting Services, and I'm also the founder of the SCORE system. The SCORE system is the only proprietary federally registered program guaranteed to attract the zone. And the SCORE system has been behind the scenes like a puppeteer for over a half a century. I'd like to welcome my co-host. I've got Caleb Clayton, executive coach, coaching life, business, sports. I've also got Ryan Lidge, also an executive coach. Coaches, I got some concern because I've been talking to coaches around the country, NCAA collegiate coaches in multiple sports, also coaching a lot of high school coaches, even all the way down to coaches that are coaching junior high kids. And I'm getting the report back that this group of student athletes is mentally the most fragile that they've seen. And we coach a lot of athletes. We're coaching dozens and dozens of collegiate athletes. And in my 50 years of being a coach, I've never seen a weaker mindset than the kids that are happening. Now, could be COVID coming out of that. That changed a lot of people's mindset, not just athletes. I can see self-esteem dropping, not looking someone in the eye long enough to discern eye color, low optimism. I'm definitely seeing worrying. We were in a collegiate class not that long ago and we said, if you worry, raise your hand. I thought everybody was going to break their hand.
Yeah, whole team hand shot up.
It went crazy. And what do you worry about? I don't know if I'm going to make the team. What are you worrying about? Well, my grades. What are you worrying about? Money, finances. Now, a week later, I'm talking to a fourth grade class. Do you worry? Every kid raised their hand. So we're in a society with student athletes who, and typically student athletes have goals. They're motivated. They have routines. But we're seeing these kids not have mental routines. I asked a kid last night who got off to a bad start in a collegiate golf tournament, University of Illinois, great program that we coach them, and the SCORE system. And he was horrible. What happened? Did you do your routines? Oh, yeah, I got all my routines were in check. How about your mental routines? Oh, that's, I was all
Nobody
over.
thinks
Non-existent.
about those mental
So
routines.
you can be doing your physical routines, warming up on the range in golf, taking a side, warming up on the mound, taking some batting practice. But what you're thinking, that inner dialogue, if I pulled out anybody listening or watching right now, if I got a printout of every single thought you had today, would you share it with me? Yeah. I know some of you might be arrested. We think our thoughts are so encased and nobody can hear them.
Yep.
My wife can't hear them. My kids can't hear them. I'm in my little private world, but every thought, we know this, is being broadcast with body language, emotionally, but also intuitively.
And eventually in your results.
It does. And so right now I'm seeing mental endurance at an all-time low. Thank you, TikTok. Thank you, social media.
Does not help
zipping through it over and over again. I'm seeing kids stressed out, worrying. But I'm also seeing, and this blows me away, I'm seeing kids with low assessments. We have mental analytics. We're the only company that has mental analytics for hitting, pitching, fielding, lacrosse, weightlifting. We got analytics for pretty much everything.
Parenting, relationships.
Parenting. We're seeing low enjoyment across the board. We had a major leaguer, we can't say his name.
Yeah, we had a major leaguer who took our assessment and lowest enjoyment level we've
in the history
seen.
of our assessments. We've been doing them since 1999, that long, and after that, when mobile apps came along, we were the first one in the App Store. But low enjoyment, low relaxation, low self-discipline, can't hold their focus for any length of time, and then the worst, low optimism. These kids are in the future because of NIL, making money. In the
Specifically
past,
with your college athlete right now.
no question about
Absolutely.
it. NCAA, I think you all have done a horrible job. It's not amateur sports. This is a minor league pro team.
100%.
And it's driving coaches mad. How can Hurley win back-to-back and then everybody wants to leave? How's that possible? But they can leave. Everybody can leave.
Everybody can go.
Why do they leave? Why would you leave a championship team? Now, he
You
held...
can go experience something else because you get bored.
I can go get money somewhere
Yeah.
else. Come on.
Money,
I
get paid
had a
somewhere
guy
else.
that throws 99 miles an hour, lefty, and he's coveted. And he knows I know a lot of coaches. So I called the coach. He goes, what do I need? I need that guy. What do I need to pay him? He needs a truck, $50,000 truck. He goes, what? The kid wants to buy him a truck? He throws 99. He's a lefty. He's got a nasty slider. Yeah, he needs a truck. I ain't buying that guy a truck. Wichita State bought him a truck, and that's what it is. It's the highest bidder.
So, Jim, I have a question for you. What do you think the cause is, and what would be your solution? You're the world's expert on topics such as these. On the mental side, what's the cause, but then what's the solution?
Well, the solution is definitely, can I live my life in the zone, on and off the court, on and off the field? And the first thing we do, and you know this, Ryan and Kayla, we design a life blueprint. I told every client, I've had over 2,000 top pro clients, elite, the creme de la creme. Not one of them walked in with a blueprint and said, hey, here's my life blueprint. Hey, Jim, can you help me manifest it? Not one. And I've told every single one of them, that includes Alex Rodriguez, Frank Thomas, Luke Donald, all these people I've coached, you're more than a baseball player. You're more than a golfer. And if you don't know that, then you're probably going to put all your happy eggs in that one basket, and you're going to live for results. And now your sport is controlling you. And that's not fun. That's not how you got into the sport.
No.
First time we got into a sport, I felt the crack of the bat, and I heard that resonant, deep sound. Boom. And I'm like, I love that. Tennis.
Yeah.
I'm actually hopping a ride with a good player, and I'm rallying 6 or 7 shots with this guy, hopping a ride on his ball. That's a zone moment. That's why we fall in love with it. But I'm seeing these kids just with too many thoughts, most of them in the future, in the past, they're not enjoying the journey. And that makes me sad, because that's not what it's all about.
I believe that the average college student now, because that age group, this generation grew up with social media. It grew up with Instagram and TikTok, maybe a little bit newer.
And their mom's sending them to an
Facebook,
expert for everything.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Everything's programmed.
Yeah,
Right?
Social media specifically, your self-worth on social media becomes how many followers do you have? And then how many likes do you get? I remember when Facebook first came out and I got like 10 likes, it was like a dopamine trip. It was like, oh my gosh, people love me. But these kids grew up in this, and now their self-worth isn't tied to what they actually feel about themselves. It is so dependent on what they think other people think about them.
Or how much money I'm making NIL,
Exactly.
and that guy's making more than me, and he's terrible.
I'm now you tie your optimism level, which is going to affect your relaxation, your enjoyment's going to affect your entire score level. I'm tying that dependent on what I think other people think about me, which is tied to the money, how many followers I have on social media, how many likes I get on a post, and how do I what's my perception on social media.
How many parents get on that train?
And parents do it
are
too.
right there
They
with
get
them.
on the train.
Yeah,
Because-
they are comparing their child to so-and-so. They show them videos online on social media. Hey, look what Bobby did today. Now that kid, he's being compared to someone else. And they are having these high expectations that are unrealistic for their child and for themselves, and just comparing to what they see. And they only see the highlights on social media. You don't see the challenges, the struggles that everybody goes through
Nobody
on
sees
social
the
media.
lows.
Nobody sees that. It's all behind the scenes. Everything's great, but that's not the reality.
That's a great point.
You're only as good as what you think when you're alone in your dorm and there's nobody around. That's when the rubber meets the road right there.
With our clients, I know Caleb and myself has said, shut down social media 7 days. Even 2 days if you can. I've done that with my clients. It's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do without Instagram?
How do I live without that?
Now you're not taking your phone away, because that's one whole reboot that we can talk about. But just social media, just taking social media away, that can, I think there's studies out there that say it can rewire your brain to get back into a nice little
That's how
state.
I learned how to be in the zone. When I was out there, we didn't even have a cell phone. So you were in the moment. I had no cell phone. There was no social media.
We could be
Thank
having
goodness.
this. We could be having this conversation with a teenager right now, and they're itching to see. Did anyone
They
text
have to
me?
take their phone out. Their phone's got to be.
Because
I
I
click,
know that.
Click, look.
Because I've fallen into that before. And it's happening on the professional level, but we don't have to get into that right now.
Well, we know a lot of kids right now are not in the zone. We're here to help them be in that zone state.
Absolutely.
If you'd like to have some assistance in helping your kid learn our SCORE system of self-discipline, concentration, optimism, relaxation, and enjoyment, and if you're looking to help your kid live in the zone, not just for baseball or tennis or golf, but academics, relationships, and social, you've come to the right place. Click below, give us a shout out, and we'll get back to you. Any event, who's in the zone right now? Who is in the zone, that peak performance state where nothing can go wrong? And before we talk about it, when you're in that zone state, your eyes double, sometimes triple shutter speed, slowing everything down, making the ball appear bigger than it actually is. It's an amazing...
Or the hole in golf, or like the Grand Canyon.
It looks like a garbage can.
Or the hoop in college basketball.
Or the hoop.
Same
It looks
thing.
huge, like a big old...
Or the court on the tennis court. It's like you can't miss.
You can't miss.
Yeah.
And it's a great place to be in. I've seen pro athletes be in this zone well over a month. Almost every athlete I've coached can make these zone runs of 7, 10, 14, 21 days. Who's in the zone right now in pro sports?
For me, I'm going
amateur sports.
collegiate sports. It was a huge weekend of college basketball, obviously. Sweet 16, Elite 8. I am picking out Walter Clayton Jr. from the Florida Gators. Now, if you remember in the round of 32, he had some big threes to propel Florida to that
Big
win.
moments of truth.
Money on the table, and he follows that up again in the Sweet 16 game against, the Elite 8 Texas Tech. Florida trailed the entire second half. Now, Tech definitely choked a little bit. They missed some front ends and some free throws. But Walter Clayton, at the end of that game, they're still down 9 points with under 4 minutes to go.
That's not your little brother, is it?
There's no relation.
No, all right.
There's
I'm
no
just
relation.
I'm just checking.
And he was a big key component of a 12-0 run. Assisted on 2 threes, but then himself. And before this, he is 1 of 5 from 3 on the day. He seeks out the ball, hits 2 back-to-back threes, giving Florida the first lead of the second half with under a minute to go. And on those shots, if you remember, he went out, he sought the ball. He's coming off screens. I want the ball. Finds a three-point line, gets in his rhythm, and 2 huge buckets to propel Florida now to the Final Four. We have a big SEC matchup against Auburn. But Walter Clayton Jr., his confidence, his optimism, he wants the ball. Give him the ball.
Walter
I'm taking
Clayton,
it.
you're in the zone.
You are in the zone.
Who's your zone performer?
I have zone performers. I'm
Performers.
picking the New York Yankees, not the torpedo bat, the individuals themselves.
A little sidebar. He was in the Yankees organization.
They're at top of the line.
You could have worn your beard now.
I could have. I could have now. Maybe a mustache. Yankees are top of the line with the industry, with creating new technology, new things for players to use. That's besides the point. I'm going to name a couple things that the Yankees did on the second day of the season that may have never happened before. They hit a homer in each of the 3 pitches that they saw. 3 pitches, 3 home runs. That's never happened.
To start the game off.
To start the game.
Yeah.
Never happened.
Home run, home run, home run. And the pitcher, little side note, former Yankee, gave up the grand slam to Freddie Freeman in the World Series. First time the Yankees ever had 4 home runs in the first inning. First team to hit leadoff homers in consecutive games. Austin Wells, Paul Goldschmidt. And both those guys never let off before. 9 total home runs from the Yankees, franchise record. This is with Murderers Row in the 20s, 30s.
Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, come on.
Speaking of Lou Gehrig, Aaron Judge, 3 homers on the day, almost hit a 4th at the top of the wall. Now has 3 homers on the game.
I've helped 4 guys do that.
You've helped
4 guys hit 4 home runs.
Yeah. Judge has now 3 home run games. It puts him second for the most all time as a Yankee. A-Rod second.
Hello.
Joe DiMaggio second. Number 1, Lou Gehrig. So Judge does it one more time. He'll tie Lou Gehrig. The 7 home runs were the most through 3 innings in a game in MLB history. 5 home runs were also the most through first 2 innings of the game in Yankee history. And 9 home runs, again, the most ever in franchise. And they were at 11 homers this season when that game ended, which was 2 more than any other team in MLB history. So whatever the Yankees are doing got them into the zone, in a zone state. They're disciplined. They're focused. They're confident.
Come on, it's facial hair.
They have a sense
This is all. It's not the
They got a
bag.
little swag.
That's the enjoyment. There's some
wear.
enjoyment in there, and there's some comfortability because a lot of these guys have played on the biggest stage and they've been in pinstripes already. But there's a big optimism in the Bronx,
Even without Soto.
because
Especially without Soto.
people push them to the side, but they have a sense of expectancy to not just get back to the World Series, but to now win it.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that propelled them, especially when Austin Wells leads off with the homer opening day, and then Goldschmidt does the same thing the next day. Now they've got a little validation that we know this lineup is better than last year.
Lidge is bleeding a little
I have to shout out my twin Dylan. He's with the Yankees.
You're bleeding pinstripes, baby.
So, anyways, Yankees in the zone.
I got somebody that's in the zone, and this person not only got locked in the zone, she blacked out.
That was an awesome article.
Paige Bueckers blacked out in the game against Oklahoma.
Yep.
Dropped 40 points, scored more points in the fourth quarter than the entire Oklahoma team. 19 points. And she said, I blacked out. And you know what? I get that.
Subconscious took over.
Subconscious takes over, intuition, guiding everything, experience, backseat, what's going on right now in the backseat, totally locked into the moment, no past, no future. Mm-hmm. That's why she blocked out. And she actually said blacked out. She doesn't remember the fourth quarter. What a zone performance.
That's impressive.
And then she comes and backs it up.
Absolutely.
The second game with a 31-point drop. She's in the zone.
She's locked in, yeah.
And it's going to be exciting. It's going to be an awesome Final Four.
Awesome Final Four on the women's side, too.
And I can't wait. Paige Bueckers. Paige, you're in the zone.
All right, Jim, you
You're
lead
in
us
the
off
zone.
now. Who's not in the zone?
Oh, my goodness.
We got to say who's in the zone.
All right,
but who is
listen,
not?
I was a pro tennis player. I coached 7 players, top 10 in the world. I'm a diehard. I bleed tennis balls. I do. Coco Gauff, I love you. What a game. You have ascended near the top. You're almost at the pinnacle. But you're having some zone challenges right now. I got some scary statistics about her. Hang on. Her serve is causing her incredible low optimism and low relaxation. And she's having some concentration challenges. She is double faulting more than she's ever done in her entire career. Now, she's acknowledged that her serve is a source of emotional and mental problems. We use the word challenge.
Eliminate that
with a
one,
high
yeah.
number of double faults. She's struggled to control her serve, and she's given free points and her forehand. If you go back to the U.S. Open last year, she made 26 unforced errors on her forehand, never done that. She lost to Magna Linette at the Miami Open.
Unseeded player.
Unseeded player.
unseeded.
Couldn't find her rhythm. Her forehand is shaky. She hasn't found that constant contact point for her cross-court forehand. She can hit it the same place every time. The inside-outside forehand, the same thing. Right now, her contact points are variables. They're not constants. That's causing her mind to be a variable. When you got on the court and you've got a weapon like a serve and you've got a weapon like a forehand and they're off, you feel naked out there. You really do.
Yeah.
You feel alone. And you can feel the energy backing up like a toilet. And Coco Gauff, I understand you've got an amazing support system with your mother and father. You have your spirituality to lean on, your faith, and I love that. You also travel with Evan Zeter, who's with New Balance, and I know Evan. I used to coach Evan when he was on a national championship, University of Illinois team, tennis team, and the whole Zeter family. So I know you're going to make it, Coco. If I can help you, give me a call. I'd love to help that serve you well and start putting some majors under your belt. Coco, you can do it. Be in the zone. It's the only place to be. One quick story. I'm coaching Peter Fleming. I'm in Las Vegas. We'd been working on his serve. His toss was horrible. He'd toss it up so high, I thought it was going to bring rain. I'm behind the box. There's 2,000 or 3,000 people in the stadium. Way old Allen King Classic. Peter double faults, hits it past the baseline. Left 15. Double faults again, love 30, past the baseline, hits 2 serves as hard as he could hit them, love 40. Then he turns to the crowd and goes, "My serve sucks, and there's my coach." And he points to me in the stands. You know that commercial, Want to Get Away?
Yeah.
That. There's nothing worse than having one of your tennis clients. I was not in the zone. You were not in the zone. I was not in the zone.
Yeah, I'll just say before we get into Caleb's not in the zone, right there, those couple minutes right there, you talking about tennis, is everyone listening should know that is why you are the #1 coach of champions. You know the details better than anyone else, but you can spit them out in a score language that everyone can understand. It's just remarkable. I love listening to you talk tennis, and tennis ain't my first sport. That's not my #1. It's baseball for sure. But I think everyone needs to take note. This guy knows what he's talking about right here.
Well, 50 years. I'm starting to get the hang of it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Who's not in the zone for you?
For me, this is a tough one. We don't really love to say who's not in the zone, who didn't have a great performance. But if I got to pick one individual, I'm going Tony Finau on the PGA Tour at the Texas.
He does not want you to bring him up
no,
on this
he
show.
Does not.
He's a good guy, by the way.
I love him. He's an awesome guy.
We love Tony.
We do. But Tony,
come on, Tony.
Because we know the game's there. Tied for 6th, going into the final round on Sunday.
Money on the table.
Money's on the table. He shoots a 6 over 76 and drops 30 spots in the field.
Mama's not getting new shoes with that kind of record.
She is not. But this is last week. He was cut at the Genesis. So tied for 5th, but then last week cut from the Players. His game has been up and down this year. He's missed 2 cuts so far in the 2025 season, a couple finishes in the top 40, but he had a double bogey on the 3rd hole this past round on Sunday, and after that, you could just tell the negative emotions started coming out. He definitely did not adhere.
So you're watching his body language.
Yes.
You could turn the sound off and tell what's going on.
You don't have to listen to the announcers. You can watch him out
It goes to show you how good Mom is. You know, Mom doesn't know jack about the sport. She's just schlepping her kid to and from. But she doesn't need to know anything. But she can read her kid's body language and know who's not in the zone and who's in the zone.
And you could just see his relaxation, especially on the green, plummeted. I mean, he sped up his pace a little bit. He had negative. Usually, Tony's pretty even keel. He's not one to have knee-jerk reactions, but his emotions being the takeover, you could see the relaxation levels plummeted.
We like Tony. Let's throw Tony a tip. Hey, Tony, if you're listening, be in the zone. The 5-second rule.
Yeah.
You're only as good as the 5 seconds after every shot. This is totally counterproductive what everybody talks about. Everybody talks about the pre-shot routine. Okay, we have routines for that. But the 5 seconds after threads shot after shot over holes, over rounds, over days, over weeks, making a zone run. And the 5-second rule works like this. As soon as you follow through, Tony, hold your pose, put your chin up. That'll prevent you from going into the pass. In that 5 seconds, you can't blow your breath. You can't judge it and go, oh, that was too fat. That was too thin.
Yeah.
So no little commentating from you. All you want to think about is one word, Tony. Next. Next target. Do that over and over and over again. That took one of my clients who made it to number 1 in the world almost a year to have a perfect round where he did not violate the 5-second rule one time. And that was the first tournament we won. That was Luke Donald.
Professional golfer, number 1 in the world. It took him an entire year to master one tool.
I mean, you think about, all the kids, and, I coach a lot of coaches, Brian Mogg, I coach David Ledbetter and his whole family. And I love these instructors. They're masters. Ledbetter, master. Mogg, master. Skip Kendall, putting, short game, master. But the one thing I found is that sometimes when you're taking a lesson, you hit the shot, then you look at the tape or you get instruction, then you hit the shot. So you really don't get a flow at all of getting into a rhythm. And that's what the kids do today. They're constantly looking at what was my exit velo. And I'm like, seriously? That's
Big
what
challenge.
That's what you're thinking about?
Baseball and
that's
golf
in
right
baseball and golf. Spin rate in tennis.
Tennis, yes.
I think too much statistics and not enough mental discipline, mental focus, mental confidence, mental relaxation, and then you got to enjoy the challenge. And that's one thing as a pro athlete, you're going to have challenges. There's only one guy at the top of the mountain, and when you get there, the only footprints are yours. Ain't nobody else. I'm not up there. I'm like, congratulations, way to go. The only footprints are that guy.
Yeah.
It's a very lonely thing. So it's easy to get into your own head. But Tony, improve that inner dialogue, clean it up, use the 5-second rule. We're going to see you in the winner's circle. Is Tony in the Masters?
Tony will be in the Masters.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Tony.
That name's in the Masters.
Let's get a
Tony,
green jacket
go
on
get
Tony.
measured for the green jacket, brother. Go get measured. And now, who's not in the zone for you, Ryan?
I got an easy one, quick one. Maybe you guys haven't heard this, but me being the baseball savant, I found out about this. Not in the zone, Liberty Baseball, University of Liberty or Liberty University.
Where is that?
I believe it's Virginia.
Virginia.
Flames.
Yes,
Out
they're
in
actually
Virginia.
a,
What are
a
they called?
solid.
The Flames.
The
solid
Flames.
baseball program, winning this year, playing Jacksonville State, also a solid program. But the Liberty Flames were forced to forfeit their game after just one pitch on Saturday. Why? Well, Liberty had to forfeit because they accidentally left the starting pitcher off of the official roster they have to turn in for their doubleheader against Jacksonville State. And the Jacksonville coach was so prepared, so in tune with who he's playing against, that he caught it, waited for one pitch to be thrown, quietly walked out to the umpires, said this kid's not on the roster, and Jacksonville State gets a win on it. So not in the zone. Whoever turns the roster in did not realize that the guy, one of the 3 starting pitchers they have on the weekend, wasn't on the roster. They'll make that adjustment, I expect. So Liberty, you're going to be okay. You're having a great year, but not a zone performance for Liberty.
I coached a Rookie of the Year on the PGA Tour. We're leading the tournament, New Orleans. I'm waiting for him to go sign his card and come out, and I'm waiting. And then he comes out. Then he looks panicked. I go, what's wrong? I go, I don't know what he's doing. And he runs back in. And then he comes back out, and I go, what's up? And he goes, well, we got to go home. I didn't sign my card. I go, what? Yeah, I forgot to sign my card. And I left and tried to go back, and we're winning the tournament. We're winning the tournament. So I get it, and
it happens, but they'll learn. So Liberty, I still love watching them play. They can hit. Me and Caleb were actually watching highlights against them playing North Carolina. They can hit, so they'll be just fine.
North Carolina, it's a top team, top 25 team.
Go Liberty, go Flames.
Let's talk about the zone, because I think everybody watching, listening, wouldn't you like to be in a purposeful, calm mindset where you have a feeling nothing can go wrong? Well, step up to the ZoneCafé. I want you to put on your imagination. You're in a car, and you're coming up to a drive-up window, but we're not selling fast food. We're selling 5 things only. You can order only one of these. So listening, watching, which one would you order? You could order a big slab of self-discipline, hot off the grill. That means I'm locked in, I'm committed, I've got the willingness and commitment to stay with a task to reach well-defined goals. I am disciplined with my routines. I got more constants in a game of variables. Would you like that? If you do, leave. You're good to go. That could be the missing link. But maybe you are disciplined. But you're on TikTok, you're on Twitter, you're vacillating back and forth. You can't hold your focus. You're about 5 seconds, and then you're thinking about your girlfriend. What's up with that? Do you lack focus? Do you need to lock in? Would you like a big bag of concentration? And once you have that, you're locked in. Not just for a moment. You're locked in for minutes, hours, days. Would you like concentration? Order it now. But maybe you need some optimism. And I'm cooking up a mess of optimism back there. It's going to give you a feeling that nothing can go wrong. You'll have trust in yourself. You'll have expectancy. Do you need that? Order it now. You can come back and order something else. But maybe you need a cool drink, because we got that, of relaxation. One sip, I'm as calm and cool. My heart rate, maybe it's high, but my breathing's low. Would you like to have some relaxation, especially when the money's on the table? The next move or non-move, you pick up the money. Order it now, a cool drink of relaxation. But we also have a happy meal. You got to enjoy the journey. You got to enjoy the challenges. Get a happy meal of enjoyment. What's the missing link? And what you don't know is that every one of these markers, self-discipline, concentration, optimism, relaxation, and enjoyment, triggers natural body chemistry. Cortisol, dopamine, adrenaline, oxytocin, all of these chemicals, endorphins, serotonin. Once they're in play with our score system, the zone arrives, and you will have the best performance of your life. What do you want, everybody? You're now at the ZoneCafé. Place your order. And if you got more questions about the score system and you want to really take a deeper dive, check out below, link below. We're here to help you. You can also go to Ask Jim, AskJim, at ZoneCoach.com. It's time to live in the zone. Ryan, Caleb, the ZoneCafé is going to be a regular feature on our show, but it's a regular feature in your daily coaching life. You run your clients through the ZoneCafé in your own way every day.
Absolutely, every call.
What do your clients need the most when they go through the ZoneCafé right now?
Right now, if we're just looking at the past 7 days, working with my clients, whether that be business guy in finance, golfers, Corn Ferry Tour, collegiate golfers, the one thing that I've been relentless, and that's one word that we describe you as, relentlessly consistent on the magic mantras, the positive affirmations, my clients selling themselves on themselves. That's often the hardest sell, as you always say.
When's the best time to use a tool like that? And how long does a tool take?
Yeah, so a tool like that takes less than 5 seconds. Now, this is a tool for anybody listening, whether you're a student, a parent, in a relationship, baseball player, basketball, does not matter. A positive I am statement that is part of the strengths of your game, something that you own. And this tool, when used during performance, as you said, takes less than 5 seconds, Jim. It's used after a great shot on the golf course.
So I'm a pitcher, and I fly open and just fling one well above the catcher's head, obviously not accurate. You want me to then say, I am accurate.
Yes.
That's a tough time to say it when you're actually not, but that's the whole point.
And that's the most important time, too, to really double down when.
You got to prepare for this, don't you?
Yes. So you have to have this magic mantra prepared in advance, but use this during performance, especially when expectations do not meet reality.
And you better do this in practice, because you need to practice this tool, especially when stress arrives.
The magic mantra.
Magic mantra. I've been hammering that with my clients.
That's one of our 13 universal tools. It's in our book, The Blueprint.
It is.
So for me and my clients, I want to speak on my younger clients, because of the opening that we had today, speaking about the younger generation. It's really not a tool. It's something you preach all the time, Jim, Caleb, you preach it, I preach it. Executing the basics, the self-discipline. They need a big spike of S, a slab of S, I guess, a 12 rack, whatever. They want to do more. They want to do all these fancy things. Baseball players, there's all the tech, the exit velo, the launch angle, the new analytics coming out, the new bats that the Yankees have. Those are all awesome. It's all
Tennis,
great.
spin rate,
Golf,
it's crazy.
It all has everything. TrackMan's everywhere. So now everything that's complicated is pretty. It's got all the glitter. It's got all the glam. Forget what the basics are as a hitter. You just hit solid.
With an accelerated bat head. Nothing more, nothing less.
Throw be on time in there. Have a good approach in there. And have good mental routines in there. That's just the basics. We got to get back to executing the basics in our youth, in college, even at the pro level. So I've really just been hammering that with my clients because we think that the fancy things are going to help us.
Gonna take us to the next
on Instagram, you get the new tool. This is the new golf swing. This is gonna help me drive the ball 10 more yards.
Absolutely.
You execute the basics over a long period of time. I can promise you will be successful. So stop trying to find the new swing trick. Stop trying to do the new batting stance that Shohei Ohtani's got. Because I remember when I was growing up, let's hit like Bryce Harper. Oh, now I want to hit like Barry Bonds. Oh, now I want to hit like Juan Soto. Do the Soto shuffle when he takes a ball. Yeah. Just execute the basics. So big dose of self-discipline, I believe, for my clients.
Well, next week it could be something else.
Absolutely.
It depends on their environment, on their coaches, on their parents, and it really depends on what they think when they go back to their room and they're alone. Yeah. Your kid is only as good, or your player, if you're listening as a coach, you're only as good as what your team or your kids think when you're not there. And I know the one thing that it's been a big deal for my wife and I raising kids, you got to train people into being a world-class decision maker. Make a decision. And this is something that's missing in today's youth. They're not world-class decision makers because we make all the decisions for them. At 4 o'clock, you go to gymnastics, and at 4:45, you go to tennis top. This is at age 4 and 5 years old. Our kids are totally robotically programmed. They hit a ball in baseball and then look to see what mom and dad think.
They need feedback immediately.
Yeah, the same thing in tennis. They're constantly looking up into the stands, see mom and dad.
They look at their bat sensor stats on their phone now after every swing. It's impossible to get a rhythm.
You and I were with the Boston Red Sox, and there was a long line of batting cages, and both teams were actually practicing before a game. And every one of them had this hundreds of thousands of dollars, cumulative millions of dollars worth of tech, and there was a monitor behind the player. They would hit a ball and then look behind the monitor at their exit velo. They'd hit another ball every single time, and I'm like, how are you going to get in the zone doing that?
Can't get into the practice rhythm.
If you don't practice being in the zone, good luck. Flip a coin. Maybe it arrives, maybe it doesn't. But with the score system, we have tools that we practice. And here's the cool thing about the score system. I mean, I'm still in awe of it. I discovered it. I didn't create it. It takes less than 3%, mostly around 2% of your waking hours. And if you sleep 8 hours a night, you're awake 112 hours a week. That's not a lot of time. And the system is without inconvenience, and it'll help you prepare, adjust, and evaluate in less time. Less is actually more.
Yep, absolutely.
So what's this show about? It's about you helping your son or daughter perform in a zone state. It's about you getting in a zone state on Sunday when you're playing little skins with your buddies, trying to pick up a little extra money, having a beer and playing some, going on the links. It's about you as a professional, going from good to great to the greatest. And every step up the way, whether you're amateur or pro, parent or coach or player, the zone is always there. And it's in all of us, and that's what I understood. Yeah. And the crazy thing, 50 years ago, I was researching little kids for 18 months, 4 to 8 years old, and I realized they're automatically in the zone. And I want to be a kid again. And there's something to that. They say out of the past, I'm 2. I got no past. I've only been on Earth 24 months. I have What time is it? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? They have no concept of time. So from birth to 5, we actually learn more in that time frame than the rest of our lives accumulative, even if you live to 100. So there's a lot to being a kid again, but there's a lot to dumbing everything down. Like Ryan says, execute the basics, especially when the money's on the table. Use these simple tools like Caleb is talking about, the magic mantra. How simple is that? But you got to practice it. It's all inside the score system. So everybody, check us out. Follow us, please, and share. We're here to help everybody, regardless of age, gender, doesn't matter, be in the zone. And we want you not just to play your sport in the zone, it's time to live in the zone. I'm your host, Zone Coach Jim Fannin. I've coached champions in life, business, and sports for 50 years with a proprietary thought management system that I discovered called SCORE. Every guest on this show has been in what we call a zone state, a purposeful, calm feeling where nothing can go wrong. And you're performing at your highest level. Thanks for watching or listening to Living in the Zone podcast. Make sure that you subscribe so you can be up to date on all of our information and content. Go to ZoneCoach.com where you're going to learn more on how we can help you live your life, business, or sport in the zone.